So you've decided to step into the world of Pathfinder 2nd Edition. You're all ready to go, and you've taken the mantle to be a GM, a Game Master. Well, you want to design encounters that are challenging, but do not outright kill your entire party. How do you do that? How do you ensure that your encounters are balanced? That is what we'll talk about today on Galorian in depth. There are two common ways of character advancement. One is called milestone. You, as the GM, will tell the players when they level up based on their place in the narrative. The other common way of character advancement is through the collection of experience points, or XP. Once the player gains enough XP by overcoming challenges, they will level up. Regardless of the method of character advancement that you choose, you as the Game Master must understand how XP works in order to make balanced encounters. Each challenge that the player overcomes should award them with XP. Once the player gains 1000 XP, they will advance to the next level. Not all challenges need to be combat encounters, but for this explanation it may be best to start with an understanding of that mechanic first, before exploring more ambiguous encounters. We will use an example throughout this video of the mayor being kidnapped by a cultist and taken into the crypt. First, we must decide how challenging we want each of these combat encounters to be. Pathfinder 2nd Edition has given 5 designations for threat levels. These are trivial, low, moderate, severe, and extreme. Trivial is rarely used, as it should pose little to no threat to the players. Extreme encounters should be used with extreme caution, as it may easily lead to all of your players being defeated. If you do choose to use an extreme encounter, be sure that they have a means of egress from that encounter, or a way to circumvent it. Each threat level has its own XP budget assigned to it. Trivial has 40 XP, low has 60, moderate has 80, severe has 120, and extreme has 160. When designing your encounters, you'll want to aim for this number when you add the total number of XP gained by defeating each of the enemies in the encounter. Each enemy is assigned an amount of XP that is awarded for defeating them. This amount of XP is determined by the difference of the creature level and the level of the player characters. As your players advance in levels, creatures become more easily to defeat than they were when the players were at a lower level. If the creature level is 4 below the party character level, the defeat of that creature will gain 10 XP. If the creature is 3 below the party level, is 15 XP. If the creature is 2 below the party level, is 20, and so on. For this example, if you want to design a moderate encounter for your players, you will want to aim for 80 XP. You could use 2 enemies that are of equal level to your players, 1 enemy that is 2 levels above your players. You could have 4 enemies that are 2 levels below your players. In our mayor example, the party level is 1, enters into a haunted crypt. They may face 4 skeletal guards at the entrance, as they are creature level -1. Each of these grant 20 XP, because they are 2 levels below the party. Alternatively, they might face off against 1 skeletal giant. A skeletal giant is level 3, or 2 levels above the player levels, granting 80 XP by himself. Another option could be 2 plague zombies. Each of these creatures are level 1, which is equal to the party level, and each grant 40 XP. Combination of various enemies could also be implemented. For example, you could have 2 skeletal guards and 1 plague zombie. Of course, not all your enemies need to be undead. You could bring in a rat swarm, which is a creature level 1 worth 40 XP, and add that with a plague zombie, which is also a creature level 1, giving 40 XP, for a total of 80 XP, which is your goal. Another important consideration is the budget of treasure that these encounters provide. You should consult Table 1-3 of the Game Mastery Guide, found on page 51. For moderate encounters for level 1 players, you should award 18 gold worth of treasure. Over the course of the entire level 1 play, players should be awarded 1000 XP and 175 gold worth of loot. Hazards are treated similar to creatures when determining their threat levels and XP budget. Players gain XP by overcoming hazards, whether they disable it, avoid it, or simply endure its dangers. There are 2 types of hazards in Pathfinder 2nd Edition: simple and complex. Simple hazards use its reaction only once, after which its threat is over unless the hazard is reset. Complex hazards function similar to monsters during encounters, as they roll initiative and have actions of their own, though these actions are usually automated in a routine. For complex hazards, use the same chart used earlier for threat levels and amount of XP awarded by the hazard. For an example, our party explores the crypts and discovers a grave hall trap. A grave hall trap is a level 4 hazard. This is 3 levels above the party level, granting 120 XP, as it is considered a severe threat. On the other hand, a simple hazard grants less XP than a complex hazard. If a simple hazard is 4 below the party level, it grants 2 XP. If it is 3 below the party level, it grants 3. If it is 2 below the party level, it grants 4 XP, and so on. When our example party comes to a door in the crypt, it is trapped by an electric latch rune. This is a simple hazard that is 2 levels above the party level. Overcoming this trap will award the party 16 XP. Hazards and monsters can be used in combination for some dynamic battles. Once our party advances through the door, they find a room with a summoning rune, a hazard 1 worth 40 XP, in the floor, and a cultist, which is a creature 1 worth 40 XP. This is a moderate encounter. The room has 18 gold worth of loot in it. You may decide to move loot from one encounter to a different location. Since we have not yet given loot to our party for surviving the grave hall trap, which was a severe encounter, we'll move that treasure to the room with the summoning rune. We will add 26 gold to the budget for a total of 44 gold. This increased budget will help us be more flexible with awarding magic gear. Perhaps we place a +1 weapon worth 35 gold and 2 minor healing potions, each worth 4 gold, that were left by some previous adventurer. As mentioned previously, not all encounters must be combat. Skill challenges and social encounters can also award players XP. If the players complete a minor accomplishment, you can award them 10 XP. For a moderate accomplishment, you can award them 30 XP and 80 XP for a major accomplishment. These accomplishments are rather ambiguous and up for GM interpretation. Our example party has defeated all of the enemies in the crypt and has now rescued the town mayor. You may decide to award the party an additional 30 XP for breaking him out of his bondage. Today, our party has fought past a plague zombie and a rat swarm at the entrance of the crypt, giving them 80 XP, traveled through the grave hall trap, earning them 120 XP, disabled the electric latch rune, giving them 16 XP, and fought the finest cultist in his summoning room, giving them 80 XP, and finally freed the town mayor for another 30 XP. They have earned a total of 326 XP for this session. They have also gained nearly 62 gold worth of loot. This is approximately 1/3 of what the party will need to reach level 2. There are some special considerations when deciding how to design your encounters. Everything we talked about so far today assumes that there are 4 players in the party. If the group has more or less players, some adjustments need to be made to keep things challenging. If you have more than 4 players, add the adjustment of the XP budget for the counter. If you have less than 4, subtract the adjustment to the XP budget, as seen in the table here. For example, if you want a moderate threat encounter and you have 5 players, add 20 to the XP budget. The moderate encounter should have enough threats to equal 100 XP. If you want a moderate encounter and you have only 3 players, subtract 20 from the XP budget. A moderate encounter should have enough threats to equal approximately 60 XP. You should also consider the makeup of your party, as certain enemies have resistances and weaknesses that your party may or may not be able to address. For example, a melee fighter is going to have difficulty fighting the rat swarm, whereas an alchemist or a spellcaster that has area effect spells will be able to handle the rat swarm more easily. A cleric will shine when fighting against undead because of their channel positive energy. Try to pick enemies that will either highlight your player abilities or challenge their shortfalls. Reward players for pre-combat planning and research. Give clues about the enemies they may be facing, and allow the players time to strategize and select spells and to stock up on appropriate equipment. On the other hand, it is fun to throw in the unexpected and see how they relate to those challenges. For more tips and highlights on how to make powerful and dynamic encounters, please visit my friend over on How It's Played. Thank you again for watching. Remember to like and subscribe. Leave a comment below. And we'll see you next time. Happy gaming.